Recording in progress. Yay. I am recording.
We're now recorderating.
Hello, everybody. My name's Bill. This is Rust to Resurrection. Today, I'm talking to my buddy Jeff Ford down in South Carolina. Now,
By the way, Bill, it was 70 degrees today.
It's not. It's 15 degrees right now, buddy.
70
and it's supposed
here.
to be below zero. Anyway, I brought my 70 Camaro down to Jeff about 4 years ago. And Jeff has been featuring it on his YouTube channel, done a lot of work on it. And we have been sitting trying to do a planning session for how we do certain modifications to the car in the future. So I want to bring you guys along so you can get to see that discussion about that 1970 Chevy Camaro.
And so that is going to be happening. And one of the first things we're going to probably be attacking is the suspension on the car because of Bill's desire to go road racing. Well, actually hill climbing and autocrossing.
Well, let's be clear. I'm following your 90% video, your 90% rule.
No, you're not. 90% of the time, you're not going to be driving that in a hill climb. Like
it's going to be sitting in a garage. So 90% is going to sit in the garage, but I'd like the opportunity to do an autocross.
So just put some 14-inch Steelies on it and call it good. One of the things I talked to David Posey, I guess it's David Posey or Posey. I'm not sure which it is, but he is a guy who does a lot of road racing stuff. He's got a couple of first-gen Camaros. He's got a second-gen that they're campaigning pretty regularly. And so I reached out to him to get some advice on what we should do with your RS potential SS Camaro. And quickly, it careened out of financial control.
Very quickly.
It's on fire and listing from a financial standpoint because I think he's a race guy, so he's looking at it from a race aspect. What I was trying to get out of him was, okay, so, I want to go from soup to nuts on this, and we'll be doing a video on this down the road about, what we're going to be doing to the car and some suspension upgrades that you guys can do. But what happened with what had happened was he sent me stuff like Ride Tech was one of the companies he mentioned. Detroit Speed was another company he mentioned. A company that makes very expensive race steering boxes. And all of these are great ideas. I am not poo-pooing anything that David said. It was fantastical information. Loved it. But from a practical standpoint, for you, with what you're doing, I'm going to try to back that bus up just a little bit.
Well, you never gave me prices, but you certainly indicated it.
When he said Detroit Speed, I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. These are the things he suggested. I'm waiting to hear back from him, and he may not respond because he probably feels like he's giving me everything I need to know. And there are some really good tasty tidbits that we'll be going into in another video down the road here pretty quickly. I think another thing we've got going on is we've had an engine on an engine stand. I don't know what it is about me with engines on engine stands for years, but we've had an engine on an engine stand from the guys at Summit for a couple of years now. And we've got a 383 small block we're going to be putting into your car. So the nice thing is you're going to have big block power out of a small, lightweight engine package. And it needs that. It needs that because from what David was telling me, that car is 58% over the nose.
Right.
And yours is probably a little more because it's got that big steel and urethane cone on the front of it that the guys at GM, God love them, they made that thing weigh about 14,000 pounds. So,
but they knew how to make the car beautiful.
It's pretty.
Yeah. I think
it's going to push like a Mustang going in a corner. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah. And I think that's going to be something we're going to be fighting with this car a little bit. I'm hoping we can get something like a 3-link rear suspension in the car to kind of move that forward and help that just a little bit to get away from the leaf springs and go to a coil spring system. I haven't really looked around yet to see who has one of those.
in the
If we were,
back?
yeah,
Okay.
if we were doing a Mustang, it'd be easy. I'd just get with RRS and we'd put an RRS 3-link in there, or Street or Track. Either one of those two companies offer a really nice 3-link system. I know that somebody has to have a 3-link for a Camaro because that actually comes from the GM side. Don't tell the Ford guys. So those are some of the things. Now, so we kind of didn't get off into the interior on your car. Do you want to do something different with the seats, or do you want to keep it to where it's got a stock style seat?
No. So we talked about this. We've talked about this many times. We even talked a little bit about it on that very first episode when I brought the car down 3-4 years ago.
Oh, it's been
Um,
longer than that. That's
yeah,
kind of you to say it that way, though.
see, I really don't remember, Jeff. But here's the thing, and you and I have talked about this. That car is not original. That car
No,
has
it's
been
not.
changed. So at this point, I don't feel any obligation to the originality of the car. Now, you know, I do restorations, and I
Beautiful
get,
restorations.
yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I get very involved in this concept that it's only original once. And when so much of what I'm restoring is original, I work very hard at maintaining that feel and appearance of originality when I can. But if I get I restore guns, guys. If I get a gun in that is obviously been bastardized, if you will, I have no compunction against making it a resto mod. To
You did
making
that
it,
with you were just talking about, I believe it was a Springfield Sporter that you guys had in your collection, I believe. It was like
yeah,
a '03 Springfield, and somebody made it into a sporting rifle.
yeah, and at that point, when you've got it, it's no longer original. It's been so worked over, so changed
Yeah,
that the emotions, the idea that it's only original once is totally out the pan. It doesn't matter at that point.
I mean,
So
like,
I think,
go ahead.
well, I feel that's the truth with this car. This car is so far from original that it would take a major expenditure to get it back to its original form. And I don't know that I want to do that.
I won't say that it would take a ton of money to get it back to its original form. I think that, I really do want to try to figure out how to get it back to the Daytona yellow, because let's face it, every Camaro that doesn't move away quick enough ends up resale red.
Yes.
So I'd like to do away with that.
Well,
But
if we can get to that, that'd be really kind of cool. But in the same respect, I'm not having any real issues sort of resto modding this thing within reason. So I mean,
I
if we
think
change the suspension, if we change the interior, getting seats that keep my butt plunked in the middle when I'm going around tight corners. If I do the autocross, which I think would be a hoot to do with this car, competitive or not, I'd like to be able to stay in the seat. So I mean, I like leather. I'll tell you that. I like leather.
you're going to be paying a pretty penny for leather, I'll tell you
All
that.
right, so we'll make fake leather.
The folks leather.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, the
But
nice thing is there are companies like TMI makes a seat bun system for a lot of the classic muscle cars, probably for the Camaro. I haven't looked at that part of it yet. I'm pretty sure they make a seat bun system that will put you in the seat better than
yep,
the flat park bench that GM used back in
yep.
1970 and
So I
71.
don't know that I want a real tall back. You
Right.
know,
I would like to keep it with the stock looking seats. I think I've been researching belts a lot. There's a way we could do a through the headrest anchor system
sure.
so that you don't have to keep it in there all the time. You have a clip system right at the back seat that runs up between between the headrest posts on your car. Because I think that car's got a 2-post, not a single post headrest. If it has a 2-post headrest, there's a 2-post system you can do with the seats.
Okay.
And you can have a nice tight seat system in the car. It's a low back seat, and I kind of like the look of that in a Camaro. I know that they went to a high back seat later on,
Yeah.
but I really like the way that kind of seat looks in those cars. It's just got a nice appealing look to it.
No, I agree with you. And I want carpet in there. So we're gonna have to replace the carpet. New door cards, that kind of stuff. But that's all
Well, I
stuff
mean,
we.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. I think what we'll probably end up doing is a mild restoration on the interior. Basically, it'll involve the seats being redone. Probably try to get some TMI seat covers just to make that all coalesce a lot better. We've already got the dash pad for it. We've already got the instrument cluster converted over so that you got an oil pressure gauge rather than a clock.
Yeah, this is a cool project, Jeff. I mean,
The nice thing is the car's already a 4-speed car. You got a console and it's a 4-speed car. The original Hurst shifter is still there.
right.
So one of the things I'd like to try to do is find somebody that we can get locally. I think there's a guy here in the Carolinas that does shifter restorations, and maybe get with him and go talk to him about what he does and have your shifter restored.
Yep.
But he doesn't do anything with the shift arms. But I have Houston Speed and Sport, who is a chroming place, that we could send the shifter off to them, and have them redo the shifter off. But I mean, all these little things like this are just little bitty things. When you start talking about moving away from a restoration, it opens you up to be able to, okay, we're going to run headers on it. So we'll probably contact Pipes and have them send us a complete dual system for the car.
Yep.
Like I said, it would be nice if we could find a 3-link system for it. And probably I would spend more time and money in the back, owing to what I've been told by David, than I would up front, because you're not going to be trying to take this thing and go full campaign on road courses.
No.
We'll want to put better springs in it for that to lower it down. I'll talk to him or somebody else about using a drop spindle if that's a viable for doing autocross and hill climb.
Yeah.
If that will help anything. You always want to get the nose down as low as you can to better your turn in and all that. So that's
so clearly, to be competitive is a relative term, because I would be happy. Again, when we talked about this,
I would be happy if you don't hit the mountainside after we get this thing done.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked, I told you that my brother owned this car, and trying to honor some of what he wanted to do with the car before he passed. He wanted the possibility of doing a hill climb. He wanted the possibility of doing a rally or a autocross. So I'm trying to kind of honor that a little bit, but at the same time, I'd love to be able to take this car to a car show, go down to the local store, get some ice cream, and have it be relative or reliable enough that I'm not going to worry about it coming home.
Well, I mean, that's some of the things, like we're going to put the air conditioning back in it because it's a factory AC car. So I want to put the AC back in there.
Right.
We want to do a lot of the little things that car is going to need to be competitive in that way. Because honestly, that's going to be more of what you're going to do than, you're going to probably autocross it once or twice a year. You may do one hill climb a year, but you and Lynn will go to the play, go get ice cream, and you may say, hey, man, there's a little Chevy event, or there's a cruise in the next town over.
Right.
We'll take this thing and run over there. And you're going to be doing a ton more of that than you will be the autocrossing and the hill climb. Bottom line.
Yeah, I agree. And we
I think
talked
your real 90% is going to the cruise in or to get ice cream, and your wannabe is probably,
I agree.
5%.
No, I agree. You're right. And as long as I got a motor that goes rumpity rump,
it should
makes a lot of noise.
The cam we spec'd with Summit, it should definitely go rumpity rump. So, and the Pipes exhaust system will help that too. It may be so that Lynn won't ride with you. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, she'll ride. She loves cars. She drives the standard shift better half the men I know. So she'll drive it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is again, this is a combination of me trying to honor my brother and trying to have fun with the damn car at the same time. So
Totally agree. I mean, that's the problem I have with a lot of what goes on out there in the hobby. I think guys will gobble up a lot of territory, like they want to do whatever. And then the car ends up sitting because they realize that, a Detroit Speed front end for a Mustang is $6,800. RRS components, you're going to have about $4,000 or more, depending on what brakes you run on it, for a rack and pinion and a strut and brake kit. And that's not even counting shipping. So people get wound up on the idea of doing this stuff, and then they stop themselves and they go, well, I can't do all that. And the car just sits. And that's a shame because, a guy could take and do a little bit along where he's just enjoying the car, driving it, taking it to the cruising with the fam. All that kind of stuff would be doable. But people will just say, I can't do what I want to do because I can't afford it. So I'm just going to stop working on the car.
right.
All right. Well, so we know that we are going to continue working on your car. Once again, I do apologize for it taking as long as it's taken. I had a lot of things happen in the middle of all that. I know you're my buddy and you don't care, but I care. It bothers me. It's like the same thing with Kylie's 67. I mean, it came in here because I was just going to do an AOD, and I'm looking at this car going, I don't want to send a dude down the road that doesn't know anything about the car stuff in that car. So I had to do more to it than what he wanted. And I mean, it's helping him out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't let a guy do what he was going to be trying to do with that car. He would end up being so frustrated by it that he would just get rid of the car.
Good God, Jeff. I mean, all those changes that happened in your life, changes that happened in my life.
We both been.
Yeah, it's been a tough 3 or 4 years. I mean, and you built a brand new film studio on top of all that stuff. So no, I get it. I'm fine with it.
The things I would do differently, but that's just me. Yeah. There's some things that I would change about this film studio that I didn't do, that I didn't know I needed to do. But anyway, So without further ado, I guess that's really it. I mean, we've kind of covered everything we wanted to cover.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell so you get notified the next time we post a video. This is a new channel. I'm trying to grow it. It's growing really nicely, but we'd like to make it grow a little bit faster. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.